G'day guys, my name is Chris. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back to my macro adventures. Today, for the first video on my channel, I want to bring you one of my favorite subjects to shoot, and that's jumping spiders. Yesterday I was lucky enough to capture one of these jumping spiders just in my front garden called a Hyperbellum villosum. I'm not the best at pronouncing their name, so if I do mispronounce it, I apologize in advance. It's only a juvenile and it's a female. The females in my area seem to be far more abundant than the males. I'm guessing the males go to war with each other. Now this juvenile female is quite feisty. She's moving around heaps. I've left her overnight in a cooler room, not very cold, but just a little bit cooler than the rest of it to try and slow her down a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be enough because she's still jumping absolutely everywhere in a little container. So what we're going to do is trap her. We're going to trap her simply by putting her in a bowl of water. Well, I'm hoping a bowl of water. I don't know if they can swim. I say him, it's a her. Oh, they can swim. We're going to find that out together. The plan is very simple. I'm going to get a bowl, some blue tack, a branch. I'm going to blue tack the branch in and I'm going to fill it up with water, put the spider in on top of it, and hopefully she doesn't have enough ability to jump. Apparently they can jump 40 to 50 times their body length. She's about 2 millimeters long, which means that I have to give about 20 centimeters worth of space. The camera I'm using today is my Canon 90D with the 100mm macro L-series lens by Canon. I love this setup for shooting spiders. The working distance with the 100mm is fantastic and it's a super sharp lens. It's amazing. So combine that with the 11 frames a second I can get out of the 90D and you've got a recipe for success when it comes to trying to shoot little feisty creatures like this spider. Right, so my hope is that the water is going to be enough of a deterrent that it's just going to stay there. If not, well, we'll just see what happens. Here are my camera settings. So we're running 1/100th of a second because these guys like to move. F8, ISO of 1000, quite high, but the noise reduction from these shots is pretty good. We've got manual focus, which is a lot quicker than the autofocus in this lens, and high speed shooting. Right, let's see how we go getting Senor Spider. Oh, you're feisty. Yes, now I need you to jump. Yep. Ooh. Yep. Oh. Ah. Aha. Alright, we're on. Patience is a virtue, apparently. Oh, I can make it. Oh, it's not good. Alright. Oh. Aha, back on you go. Thank you. So I just discovered that my bowl is not big enough. Off me hand. Uh-oh. And they can float. Oh no, this has gone disastrously wrong. Alright. I say him, it's a her. Oh, they can swim. Wow, alright. We rescued them. So now we're going to have to try and figure something else out. So we're still going to use this prop, but what we're going to do instead is just have it dry because my container wasn't big enough. Next time I've got to get a much bigger container to make sure that it can float anyway. So the other way I've learned to keep these guys sort of where they're meant to be is simply to blow a little bit of air on them. Show me your eyes, buddy, come on. Well, I'm happy to say that I think we got at least a couple that look like they're going to turn out alright once we get them into Photoshop. I'll have a quick scan through, make sure that I've got a few more than just this one. After reviewing my photos, I adjusted my settings a little bit. We've upped it to 2000 ISO. It wasn't too dark, but I wanted to get my shutter speed up to 160, so I reduced some of the shake, and F10 just to get a little bit of more depth of field. We got her safely back in her little cage. We're going to take her outside and let her go because I think we got our shots. We're lucky that in our house all the jumping spiders love this little area down here. There's lots of bugs for them and lots of undercover stuff, so we're going to let them back roughly where I find them all the time. you're free. You can go now. Yeah. Oh, there we go. And she's off. Bye. Now this is by far one of my favorite parts of the whole shoot. You think you've got a photo, you're not 100% sure, you pop the memory card out, whack it in your laptop, and get to look at them properly. So we've got them all imported into our computer, and we're just going to quickly flick through them and see what we've got. This is where I was struggling. Shooting a 100mm lens means that you get a little bit of wobble in your hands, even with image stabilization on. That's almost sharp, almost. So we're just gonna have to look for it, and that's why we use continuous shooting. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got our first halfway decently sharp one. Kind of like that one the best. There's some nice sort of, she's turned her head to the side, and I quite like that. Alright, so what have we got? 3184, 3184, 3184. Alright, first thing we're obviously going to do is just bring that exposure up a little bit. We're running ISO 1000, so it's probably going to be a little bit grainy, but I reckon that's actually pretty good. And we'll give it just a little bit of a crop too. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. No, let's leave that like it is. Shadows up a bit. Yeah. We'll even up the highlights. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Now we're going to do a little bit of denoising. Luminance 9. Yeah, probably don't need to push it too much higher than Luminance 9. I normally use luminance like 15 to 20 if it was around 2000, which is what we've got later on. I don't want to really do too much to these things, so we're going to up the clarity just a little bit and give a little bit of texture, because we've got a really nice smooth background, and I want to bring out the texture of these nuts and then the spider, and perhaps just a touch of contrast just to make that background nice and dark. Oh, there we go. I'm feeling pretty happy with a simple edit like that. Right. Before and after, quite clear. Obviously a big improvement over the original RAW file. Love shooting RAW. So much extra information to play with. And I'm no expert on editing. Everyone's going to have their different things. You know, I'm not Peter McKinnon. I don't go into these sort of things and muck around and add extra things and that. I love his stuff. I really appreciate that type of photography, but I like to keep it all in-house as much as I can. So I'm going to go through all the rest of the photos and do them just like this one, and then I'll show you the finished products once I'm done. I am absolutely stoked with how these photos turned out. It did help that we had a relatively cooperative spider, even though she was jumping around and moving a little bit. She's nowhere near as bad as some of the other ones I've had, including the males. The males of that species are so terrible to try and deal with. This, by far, is my favorite picture. I absolutely love how this looked. Shooting at the lower ISO gave me a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit more breathing room to make those edits. When I shot at the higher ISO but the larger f-stop, I actually got a few better photos, as in I got more photos that were sharp and in focus. But then doing the final edit, when it came to the noise in the picture, I really severely had to increase the luminance to get it to look good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Macro Adventures. It's the first one in what I hope to be many videos of doing similar stuff like this. In the future, I plan on taking you guys out into the woods so we can hunt bugs together underneath rocks and hopefully find some snakes and birds and other wildlife, as well as doing landscapes and portraits and other things that I enjoy taking photos of. This channel is aimed at all about being fun. I just want to have a good time, you know, because that's what it's about. What else are you going to do with your time? Why would you waste it doing something you hate? If you would like to see more of these adventures in the future, don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe button. Subscribing is completely free, and it'll help this channel grow to a point where I'm able to share these adventures with heaps of people all around the world, and maybe even give you some inspiring ideas or get you out there with your camera in your hand to go on your own adventure. And until next time, with our spider adventures or flies or bees or whatever it may be, I'll see you later.